parties in the matter of Cashel versus Gwen Clatterbuck. Step forward.
Amy Cashel is suing her former roommates, Raymond Gwynn and Emily Clatterbuck, for an unpaid loan to pay rent and an assault.
Miss Cashel, how long had you been living in your apartment?
Since October of 2009.
What was the rent when you decided to rent a room to the defendants?
It was $1,069.
And how many bedrooms did it have?
2.
Just for my own information. After you moved out, where did you go?
I moved into the city in Baltimore, into my own one-bedroom apartment.
And what are you paying now for rent?
$700 a month.
Now, where were you living before you moved into Miss Cashel's apartment?
We were living in Reisterstown, Maryland, which is about 5 minutes up the road from where we live with Miss Cashel.
Who were you living with?
2 other roommates.
And what were you paying?
We were paying $600 there.
And how much were you paying in Miss Cashel's apartment?
We were paying $620 when we first got there, and $640 by the time she left.
I'm going to simplify this case a good deal, because it's what I like to do. While you were living there with her, you got behind on your rent.
Yes, ma'am.
How much behind?
Approximately $1,200.
Now, she doesn't know you from a hole in the wall.
No, ma'am.
Did you give her back her money?
Not all of it, no, ma'am.
How much of it did you pay her back?
I don't know all of her paychecks. The arrangement that we had was that her paychecks would go to her.
So just
Yes,
is
ma'am.
what you're telling, very easy, is what you're telling me you don't know how much you gave her.
We don't know.
Ma'am.
How much did they give you? Back
About
to what they
$200.
owed you.
About $200.
Why didn't you give her the rest?
We were. None of this was an issue until she became disgruntled about other things that were happening in the apartment.
Well, I don't care about the other things. That's why I say I'm going to keep this very, very simple. You owe her money.
She didn't pay for it. She charged it to her parents' credit card.
Who cares? You live there. You ate the steak. Whether she paid for it or her parents paid for it, you didn't pay for it. So minimally, you owe her $1,000. You owed her $1,200. You don't remember how much you gave her, which for 2 reasonably intelligent people, I don't understand how you can pay somebody back a $1,200 debt and not keep track of how much you give them.
I was signing my paychecks over to her, ma'am.
Well, that's fine, but then you look at your paychecks and you write on a piece of paper. Owed, what's your first name?
Amy.
Owed Amy $1,200. Paid her back with this paycheck $57. Now I owe Amy $1,200 less $57. You want me to believe you just went like this? Here, take this and put it towards what we owe you.
I was signing over my entire paycheck. She was taking what we owed her in rent out of it and using what
The
was
surplus.
the surplus of my paycheck
To put
towards
towards
the
the-
debt.
Somebody's got to keep track of that. Don't you keep track of your own debts?
I trusted her to keep
We trusted her. None of this was an issue until she became disgruntled about other things.
Excuse me.
She became so disgruntled that she left her apartment, which is equivalent to a rent-stabilized apartment, and she moved someplace else and left you in the apartment. I assume you're still there.
Yes, currently.
Because it's a very nice apartment, right? Right. What else?
There was no surplus from her paychecks.
I don't care.
So
I don't
they
believe-
haven't
it
paid
doesn't
any of it
matter.
back.
I mean, they
I
don't
mean-
remember how much they gave you towards their debt. The story that they gave me in the answer is totally different story. That you said you'd cover the rent just because you wanted their company. You wanted them to live there.
No.
Well, that's pretty much what they wrote here.
I didn't want to be evicted.
Right.
That's why.
And one of the things that you're alleging is an assault.
Yes.
Okay? An assault where your shirt...
Yes. She
Ripped.
grabbed a hold of my shirt and pulled me back and forth and ripped my shirt.
Okay. That's a nice show and tell. Were you hospitalized?
No.
Did you see a doctor?
No.
Did you file a police report?
I called the police.
Did you file a
and
police report?
This is all they gave me.
Doesn't help me.
They laughed at her when they got there.
I'm not laughing at her. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are...
Don't live with people unless you know them.
They just don't get along with other people. They're irresponsible.
When it's not working out, man, just call it quits before it gets to this point.
They don't know how to take care of themselves.
And I'm just glad it's over with.
Don't have roommates.